Hi, I'm Craig Marquis, Children's Ministry Leader at the Naperville Church of Christ. Welcome to day one of Arrow Bible Camp. If you haven't had a chance to already, please check out the live singing and live drama on the NCOCLIVE YouTube channel. Otherwise, have a great day at camp, kids. Bye.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Arrow Bible Camp. We are so excited that you're here with us this year learning about Joseph. My name is Rusty Skipworth. I am the Youth and Children's Minister here at Naperville Church of Christ. And I have a couple of things I want to go over with you before you get started. First of all, you need to know what tribe you're in, and I'm going to tell you. So, if you are 4 years old and under, you are in the Doves tribe, all right? And if you are 5 years old, guess what? You're in our brand new tribe called the Whales. Then, if you just finished kindergarten, you are a frog. If you are in first or second grade, you are a bear. If you just finished third or fourth grade, you are a fox. And finally, if you finished fifth or sixth grade, you are a serpent. One other thing that you should know about is this checklist that came in your supply box. So if you got a supply box, you got a checklist, and it has a bunch of stuff here that we want you to do during the week, like watching our live stream drama and singing, doing the Campfire or Hammock Devotionals, workshops, skills, memorizing Bible verses, all of those things we want you to do. But most of all, we want you to have a great time this year at Arrow Bible Camp. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Welcome to Campfire, Day 1. Campfires are really cool. My family likes to go camping, and we'll have a campfire. And sometimes, even when we're not camping, we will have a fire pit in our backyard. Campfires are pretty neat because they do a lot of different things for us, like keep us warm. Sometimes we even make s'mores on a campfire. And you can even sing songs around a campfire. Or even tell stories. And that is what we are going to do at Campfire here at Arrow Bible Camp. And for today's story, I am going to be telling the story of Joseph from Genesis 37 verses 1 through 11. And we're going to talk about it a little bit as we go through the story. So even though we're learning about Joseph this week, our story begins with Jacob. There's my little Jacob. Jacob was Joseph's father. And Jacob's grandfather was Abraham. And God had made a promise to Abraham that his descendants would be so numerous that they couldn't be counted. Well, Abraham's grandson, Jacob, ended up having 12 sons, including Joseph. Do you think these brothers would always get along? Do you always get along with your siblings or friends? I know I didn't when I was a kid. I've got 2 brothers and a sister, and we didn't always get along. Jacob had a favorite son whose name was Joseph. So out of all of these sons that Jacob had, Joseph was his favorite. Jacob gave Joseph special responsibilities, like making sure his older brothers were getting all their work done. Now, I'm going to stop right here. Can you imagine if your mom or dad had your little brother keep an eye on you to make sure that you were doing everything you were supposed to be doing? That probably wasn't the best idea, but I think Jacob just wanted to keep an eye on all of Joseph's brothers. But that's not all Jacob did for Joseph. Jacob even gave him a special coat just to show him how much he loved him. How do you think Joseph's brothers felt when they saw this special treatment Joseph was getting from their dad? Have you ever been jealous of a gift that someone else received? One night, Joseph had a dream, and in this dream, he was out in the field with his brothers, and they were tying up bundles of grain. All of a sudden, Joseph's bundles stood up tall, while his brothers' bundles bowed down to it. That sounds pretty crazy, right? But then he had a second dream, and in this dream, Joseph saw the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowing down to him. What do you think these dreams meant? Do you ever have dreams? Do you think God was communicating through Joseph's dreams? Do you think God was trying to tell Joseph something? God had given Joseph this dream to show that one day Joseph would be more powerful than his other brothers. The problem was that Joseph went to his brothers to tell them the dream, and he bragged about it. He didn't just tell them, he bragged. Bragging means making a big deal about something you have done or will do. This made his brothers hate him all the more. How many of you have a younger brother or sister? What about a best friend? Can you imagine if they came to you one day and said that someday they were going to be able to boss you around? How would that make you feel? Maybe angry? Or jealous? Or maybe even sad? Joseph's dreams weren't bad, but it was wrong of him to brag to his brothers. Joseph allowed his dreams to make him feel prideful. Pride is when we start thinking more highly of ourselves than we should. We become prideful when we forget that all the things that we have were gifts from God. What is something that you're good at? Do you ever brag about it? How can we avoid being prideful? Well, we can remember that all of our gifts and talents come from God. when we were good at something, we can give God the glory for it and thank Him. God chose to bless Joseph even though he sinned and was prideful. Just like Joseph, we don't deserve God's blessings. But because God loves us so much, He blesses us too. What are some ways that God blesses you?
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Roxanne Ross, and I am one of the Arrow Bible Ministry teachers here. Thank you for joining us for VBS as we talk about the story of Joseph. Joseph's story is amazing. So, I have a couple questions for you guys. What can you tell me about lights? What happens to light when we cover it up? What if I covered it with my hand? As we see, when we cover it, the light is still there. Even if we can't see it, the light is still shining. Isn't that cool? So the light doesn't change just because we can no longer see it. It's still there. And as I look at this light, it makes me think about the story of Joseph. And God and His presence in Joseph's life. Sometimes we use in the Bible, we use light to kind of teach us a little bit about God and His presence, and how when the light comes, we can see things a little more clear. Yeah? And in Joseph's life, there were times when it seemed as though that light was not there because of all the things that were happening that were covering up the light. So, I have a job for you, if you can help me. So, if you can get a light, flashlight, or the light in your room, or a lantern, or whatever you have that's safe, you can pause the video and go get it. If you already have it, great. So what I would like for us to do is, I'm gonna go through a piece of the story, or some of the elements from the story of Joseph, and then you are gonna help me determine if it was a good situation, and if it was good, we're gonna shine that light. And if it was a situation that was not so good, meaning the circumstances were pretty bad, we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna see how God's light still shines through. Are you guys ready? All right, let's do it. So the first one is, remember when Joseph gave a bad report about his brothers to his father? Should we cover it or let it shine? I think we're gonna cover it, because Joseph was giving that bad report to his father about his brothers because he wanted them to get into trouble. And I know there are times when that happens in our own families, right? But that's not the right thing to do. It's definitely good to let your parents know if things are dangerous or someone's being unsafe. But we shouldn't bring bad reports just to see someone get into trouble. Second question, Joseph had dreams. And he told his brothers and his father about those dreams. So, is that a good thing, or was it kind of covered up? So the dreams were definitely a good thing. They were a blessing from the Lord. But we see Joseph's actions of telling his brother and father in the way that he did was prideful. So the way he brought it to them covered up the light. It did not allow God's love to shine through. Is that what you guys said? Good job. The other one is Joseph had a coat that was given to him by his dad of many colors. And his dad had given him that coat because he loved Joseph the most. So is that something that is good? Or were some of the actions in that story covering up the light? You got it. So because Joseph's father was showing favoritism and he let everybody know that he loved Joseph more than all of his other sons. That action actually covered up the good thing that he did by making that beautiful coat. His action of showing favoritism covered up that light. You guys are good at this. I have another one for you. Joseph went to check on his brothers when they were tending sheep. This one makes me think. So remember the story. Joseph went to check on his brothers as they were tending sheep. I think that's a good one because he did go to check and he wanted to be part of their work and he wanted to be closer to them. So he went to check, and that's a good thing. So we're gonna let that light shine. Good job, you guys. You're so good at this. So what about our next one? The brothers of Joseph plotted to kill him. That is definitely one where their actions were covering up that light. They were so angry and felt so jealous of their brother that they wanted to kill him. You guys are right. Definitely that light is covered at that point. And so in that time, Reuben, the older brother, he urged them to put Joseph in a pit instead. So here we have a situation where the light seems to be covered already because they're plotting to kill him or to do him harm. And then a brother says, he's our brother. Let's not kill him. Let's throw him in a pit instead. So I think that is God's love showing through because it spared his life. If that's what you guys said, rock stars. High five. So another one. Judah had the idea to sell Joseph to traders. So we went from plotting to kill, throwing him in the pit, to now selling him to traders. This one's a hard one because there are some elements where selling your brother or your sister is definitely not a good thing. But we know the story of Joseph and how this was used by God. So God turned this situation that was covered into a situation that allowed his light to shine through because it spared Joseph's life and allowed Joseph to go on and do the miraculous things that he did for the Lord. So if that's the one you said, you were spot on. We have one more. The brothers took Joseph's coat with blood and they showed it to their father Jacob. So they were trying to show of why their brother Joseph would not be back. So they covered up their bad action with a lie. And we know that that's not a good thing. So if you said that's covering the light, then you are absolutely correct. Because we know from the story of Joseph that caused their parent a lot of grief. And he was deeply saddened to hear that his son was attacked by wild animals and torn to pieces. So you guys have done an amazing job, of always showing that God is always with us. So even in those bad situations with Joseph, God was able to shine his light still. And even when his light seemed to be covered, he was still present. And he still was able to show the love that he had for his people. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Hi campers, welcome to day 1 of Hammock Devotional. I'm Miss Heather, and it's really good to see you again. The point of a Hammock Devotional is to find a nice, quiet, relaxing place to talk to God and reflect on the Bible and the story of Joseph. And I've picked my hammock because hammocks are a really comfortable, relaxing, quiet spot. But if you don't have a hammock, that is okay because you can pick a different quiet spot. maybe in your backyard or in your room. But before we start our devotional, I want to say a prayer. So I hope that you'll pray with me. Sometimes when I pray, I like to pretend that this hand is me and this hand is God's love. And then I put my hands together and God's love is entwined inside of me. So that's just a good reminder while I pray, but it also helps me to focus when I'm talking to God. So, will you pray with me? Dear God, please forgive us for the sin in our lives. Please open our hearts to your word. Let the story of Joseph become more meaningful to us today. Thank you for all the things you bless us with. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about the Egyptians and the Nile Valley where the Egyptians lived, because a good portion of the story of Joseph takes place in Egypt. And so to learn more about the Egyptians helps us to kind of relate to Joseph a little better. So ancient Egyptians were connected with nature in many ways. In the physical sense, the beautiful green Nile Valley was between two barren deserts. The Nile River had a yearly flood that caused the fertility of the land, which means that everything would grow up nicely and green and plush. In the middle of the dry and hostile lands, on both sides of them, the Egyptians had the benefit of God's thriving and plentiful creations all around them. Even in the middle of difficult desert lands, God provided for the Egyptians a thriving land to live off of. So God provided them basically a place to live where they could grow plenty of food to live on. God provided for the Egyptians just like God was always with Joseph and supported him. And God supports us all the time as well. So if you have an Arrow Bible Camp supply bag, inside there should be a baggie marked with Hammock Devotional Day 1. And inside of it is a little journal. And what I want you to do right now is to write down things in that journal, or you can draw pictures of things that you are thankful for in God's creation. So write down things in nature that you're thankful for. And if you want to, you can pause the video as you write those things down. Now, I want to talk about a Bible verse from Matthew 7:8. And Matthew is a book in the New Testament. We're reading about Joseph in the book of Genesis, and Genesis is in the Old Testament. But what is neat about the Bible is a lot of Bible verses kind of reinforce each other. So you can read one story, and then you can find other verses in other parts of the Bible that kind of back up the things you're reading about over here. So we're going to read a verse from Matthew chapter 7, verse 8. And it says, "For everyone who asks receives, everyone who seeks finds, and to everyone who knocks, the door will be opened." And the reason why I picked this verse today is because as we read through the story of Joseph the next few days, it's going to seem like a lot of doors close for Joseph. A lot of bad things happen. And time again, he basically picks himself up and moves on. And God is right there with him. And another door opens. And you'll understand that a little more as we talk more about the story of Joseph. But for our Hammock Devotional today, we're not just going to have a devotional. I thought it would be fun to play a game. And I'm hoping that we can get Mr. Rusty to play this game with us.
Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Rusty, and today we're going to play Seek and Find. So I've got some cards here, and on the other side of each card is something that you need to find. So I'm going to flip over the card, show you what you need to find, then you're going to pause the video, run real fast and find it, and come right back. Are you ready? Great, let's play. The first thing I need you to find is something yellow. All right, did you find something? Was it something yellow? Great. Let's see what you found. Wow, someone found a yellow flower. That's a dandelion. Awesome. Okay, are you ready for the next item? The next thing I need you to find is something green. All right, let's see what you found. Whoa! Someone found a giant praying mantis. That's awesome. Let's play some more. Let's see what else you can find. All right, up next we have something smooth. Go find it. All right, let's see what you found this time. I can't wait. Whoa! Someone found a smooth rock. That's awesome. All right, we got a few more. Let's play some more. Next, we have something with stripes. That's a hard one. All right, let's see what you found. I can't wait to see what you found that has stripes on it. Whoa! Someone found a giant blue bug with stripes on it. Man, that's amazing. That's a big bug. All right, let's go on to the next one. This is our last one. And this one's gonna be tough, but I think you can do it. I need you to find me something furry. Wow, I can't wait to see what furry things you bring back. All right, I can't wait to see what you found this time. Let's see what furry things you brought back. Whoa, Joseph! I guess he's furry. He's got some fur up on top there. That's awesome. You guys did great today. And I can't wait to see what else you're doing at Arrow Bible Camp. Goodbye, everybody.
Hi, welcome to Arrow Bible Camp.
I'm you, Daniel Sifka.
I'm Miss Ashley.
No, I'm Zoe Sifka.
That's right. And we're going to do a craft with you today. The craft that we are going to do together today is tie-dye. And when you make something with tie-dye, you take something that's kind of plain and white and you add beautiful colors to it. And these beautiful colors on our aprons are going to remind us of a part of our Bible story from Joseph. Jacob was Joseph's father, and Jacob gave Joseph a very special gift. Do you remember what Joseph's special gift from his father was?
The beautiful colored robe.
A beautiful colored robe, that's right. It had many colors on it, the Bible says. And that was one way that Jacob told Joseph, I love you. Because sometimes giving a gift is one way we can say that. But Jacob did not give a robe like that to Joseph's other brothers. And that made his other brothers jealous. Made them so jealous that they eventually took Joseph's robe and they ripped it up. But what we learn from this story of Joseph in the Bible is that even though sometimes bad things happen, God is still with us, just like God was always with Joseph. So let's talk about our tie-dye craft. Are you ready? All right, should we get started with our tie-dye? Let's first talk about our supply kit. If you got an Arrow Bible Camp supply bag, in there you will have supplies for your tie-dye. Black one? Here we go. Let's go ahead and open up our bag and see what's inside. Tie-dye is a really fun craft, but it can also be a very messy craft. So we're doing our tie-dye outside. You'll definitely want to ask for the help of an adult before you start your tie-dye craft, because the dye will stain your clothes and it could also stain the surface that you're working on. So make sure you ask for help before you start this craft. We also have some throwaway paper on top of our table, or you could do this craft inside a plastic bin. So in your craft bag, you have a white apron that we are going to put beautiful colors on, and you have some gloves that will keep the ink. You will keep the dye off of your fingers. And then you have some rubber bands, which you're going to use to create your tie-dye design. Some bottles. And this is the dye. So this is the part that you don't want to get on your clothes or inside because it can stain the surface. So just be careful with that.
Try the blue and you can do this one.
Yeah. Yep, we have some different colors. You'll have some different colors in your supply kit, and you can make your design however you want. Thank you very much. And then you will also need to mix your dye bottles yourself. So you can twist the little caps off your bottles and put the dye in and pour the water in to mix the dye as well.
Where's my water?
Yep, we're gonna do that part next, okay?
My water.
Very good.
Both can make the green.
Sure, we'll do our green dye first. So what I'm going to do, yep, and we'll do that one too. Zoe picked blue, and here we have some green. So I'm gonna open up our package of powdered dye, and we're gonna put that into our little bottle.
Can I have this?
Yep, we'll do this one together. This part can be a little bit messy, so I'm gonna help you. And then you guys can help me pour the water too, okay?
Mine.
Yep. Good job. We're gonna pour it into that bottle.
Hold it.
Yep, we can use all that dye.
Can this go into my bottle?
Yep, and then we'll put the blue in that bottle, okay?
Okay, then I pour.
We're almost there.
Okay, then can I pour oil?
Good job. All right. Once you have your powdered dye put into your little bottles, then we're gonna pour some water into the little bottle to make the color. Oh yeah.
My color.
Yeah, so this is the yellow that we just mixed.
Here.
Okay. Next, we're gonna pour water in here. Luke, you can help me hold it. Do you have your cap?
Do mine.
And then, yep, we'll do the blue. So add the water into the bottles. You can give them a little shake to make sure that water really mixes well with that powdered dye. That's what's gonna make your apron look really, really colorful. And next we'll do the blue.
Look at.
Yep.
Ooh.
We got it. So can I see your cap? Perfect. All right. I'm gonna dry these off, and then
No,
you guys.
I want to shake it.
Yep, that's exactly what you're gonna do. Zoe's gonna shake her color. Luke, shake your color. Make sure that dye and powder get all mixed together. And then we're done with that water for a little while.
And then,
Yeah, mix it up. Get that powder and that water all mixed together.
yeah, and then. Am I good?
Looks very good. You can check the bottom to make sure that there's not a lot of powder left down there at the bottom.
Nope, it's mine.
It should look like it's all evenly incorporated
It's
into the
mine.
bottle. Nope, that looks great.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's mine.
Now it's time to get our aprons ready for our design. This is the part of our design that's going to determine what our aprons look like. This is where it helps if your apron is a little bit wet. So together what we're going to do,
I put mine on.
if you have a squirt bottle, yep, I'm going to help Zoe squirt hers. You can just spray a little bit of water all over your apron. If you don't have a squirt bottle at home, you can also just quickly run your apron, go ahead, underneath the sink to get it a little bit damp. Not totally soaked, just a little bit wet. All right. Now, in your supply kit, you also have some rubber bands. You can choose how many rubber bands you use. Three or four rubber bands will be good, but let's talk about how we twist up our aprons first. You can really do this any way you want. You can crinkle your apron up into a ball and put some rubber bands around it. That would make an interesting design. We're gonna try to make a spiral design on ours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a spot on my apron to pinch, and that'll be the center of my spiral. So we'll do this one first, Luke, and then we'll pick on yours. So Zoe, where do you want the center of your spiral to be? Right here on this side? So wherever you want the center of your spiral to be, that's where you're gonna pinch with your fingers. Hold your rubber bands, we're gonna need those in just a minute. I'm gonna kind of tuck the strings of my apron to the inside so that they get color on them also. And from where I pinched, that's okay, from where I pinched my apron, watch, I'm gonna start twisting. Do you see how I'm twisting?
Mhm.
I'm gonna twist it up into a spiral and twist around and around, and I'm gonna help my apron follow that twisted pattern, and then we're gonna put our rubber bands on. So we're gonna twist it all around. I'm gonna twist it up pretty tight. And the cool thing about tie-dye is that everyone's design will turn out a little bit different. Yeah. Kind of like how God made us all different.
So mine can be in the middle.
Ooh, we'll pinch there. Oops, I flung that rubber band. Sorry, Zoe. Let's get another one. We'll take this rubber band, and I'm gonna stretch this rubber band over the apron just to hold the design together. To hold the design together like that. I'm gonna put 3 rubber bands on Zoe's. We'll take the rubber band and we'll stretch it over. And I'll go get that one that I flung in the grass, and then Luke, I'll help you twist up yours.
Wait, Mom, are you ready? Can I start?
You can, yeah. Start twisting. Look.
Hey.
See how we have that cool spiral on the front and the back? Here's an up-close view of our apron. You can see the rubber band pattern. We have it divided into 6 sections, and we're gonna fill each of those 6 sections with a different color. So Zoe, I'm gonna come over here. You can help with the blue dye. Pick a little triangle that you want the blue dye to fill. I'll hold it for you and you do the dye. Which one? It's helpful when doing the dye if you can put different colors next to each other. Yeah. Look, we can just soak it right up. Yeah, squirt it on. Good job. Okay, now Zoe, you can pick your next color.
Huh?
You want to keep doing a little bit of the yellow?
I'm ready. Yeah.
You ready for yours?
This too.
And some yellow.
Can I do some of this
Sure, let's put blue.
and some of this about myself?
You sure can.
Are you ready? I have it open.
You have the green open? Okay, and so you can put some yellow on yours. Oh, there's actually a little squirt top that you can squeeze it out of. So I took the whole top off to put the powder dye in, but there's a little cap that we can pull off, okay? So I'm gonna hold it for you. So pick the triangle where you want the green to go, and then you can squirt the dye in there. And when you squirt the dye in, make sure you stick the bottle into those creases too, to get all in those folds. That's what will make a really pretty design. I'll flip it over, get some on the side here.
Can we open it? I can do this all by myself.
Yep, good job. And then you want to do a cross from it too?
All by myself.
You sure can. Let's put the cap on the blue. I'll put it over here for Luke to use.
I want to hold.
Good job.
Next one,
So Zoe's gonna do yellow next, and then you can do blue, and then we'll switch.
Yeah.
Here. So we're getting lots and lots of colors all in those creases.
Let me pick this big triangle.
Good job. Get it all in there, Zoe. Then we can do it across on the other side too.
A little bit more.
Good. Okay.
I want to do some all
Good
by
job, Luke.
myself.
Okay. And then you want to do the triangle across from it too? You can do some of the triangle across from it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so put some on there. All right, once you have the dye put on your apron just as you like, I'm gonna give the aprons one little squeeze to make sure that dye really gets into all creases of the fabric.
Hi, please.
Yeah, you can squeeze it.
Can I have these?
Yeah, you wanna have a turn with the gloves? Let me finish Luke's, and then once you can squeeze yours, I'll put it in a bag for you. Because after you give it a little squeeze and you make sure that dye gets all incorporated in there,
No, can I have these?
yeah, you'll have a turn. Let me put them inside our bags, because once the dye is on your apron, you're gonna put it back inside the Ziploc bag that your apron came in, and we're gonna leave it in there for about 8 hours.
Can I have these?
Yep, do you wanna squeeze that? You wanna squeeze it in here? So 8
Can
hours,
I have these?
that would be a good time to do like the apron overnight. You're gonna let that dye set, and then we'll come back, and after our dye sets for 8 hours, we'll open up our bags and we'll see what our aprons look like, okay? All right, we have let our tie-dye sit for 8 hours. We left them inside of our plastic bags. And now it's time for us to take off all the rubber bands, and we're gonna rinse them with water, and we're gonna see what the tie-dye looks like. So you can see this is how Zoe's apron turned out. This is the start of the spiral that she made. And you can see the blue and the green and the yellow, and now we're gonna rinse out the extra dye. Good job. Okay, we'll take a break, and then I'm gonna squeeze it. Keep holding the hose. I'm gonna squeeze the extra dye, so you can see when I squeeze a little bit of extra of the dye is gonna fall out of the apron, but most of the color will stay. And then, after we've squeezed out all of the extra dye, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash these in our washing machine all by themselves. We're not gonna put these in with any other clothes, because we don't want any extra dye to get on any other clothes that we have. So we're gonna ask for some help from an adult, and we're gonna put our aprons in the wash, and we'll dry them, and then they'll be ours to wear. Give another squirt, Luke. Great. Oh, still a little bit more.
If you would like more information about Arrow Children's Ministry at Naperville Church of Christ, send an email to hskipworth@napervillechurch.org.